Hello delegates. Welcome to the E. Ahmed Model United Nations Conference 2020, our first ever virtual conference. My name is Kshama Sushil Kumar Mumbai and I will be serving as the President of the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization for this conference. Joining me in this webinar is the Vice President Arohi Kumta. During the course of this webinar, you will be briefed on committee procedures, position papers, and the process of resolution making. We will also introduce the topic that is scheduled to be discussed during the committee sessions. To start off, let's talk about what you are supposed to do prior to the conference before going into committee specifics, that is your research and position papers. The background guide is a good place to start your research. However, it is imperative to understand that it alone is in no way sufficient in order to produce fruitful discussions while in session. I recommend that all delegates look into the past actions of your respective nations and international organizations on the topic and analyze the advantages and loopholes. This is sure to give you an upper hand in the resolution-making process. It also helps to gather some information on other countries' takes on this topic. This was all with regard to your substantive preparation, but your functional preparation is also equally important for the smooth flow of committee procedures. I urge you all to thoroughly study the rules of procedure. You will be briefed on the same before the beginning of the committee session, and if you are still not clear, do feel free to approach us and we will explain it to you. After you have done your basic research and reading about your topic and country, you can move on to writing your position paper. A position paper essentially explains your opinion on the issue. Writing a position paper will help you organize your ideas so that you can share your country's position with the rest of the committee. It is broadly divided into three parts: introduction, your country's stand, and possible solutions. Your introductory paragraph must contain a general overview of the issue on an international stand. The aspect of the issue that affects your state the most can also be a part of your introduction. In the next part of your position paper, you have to explain your country's stand on the issue and a few existing policies. This paragraph deals with the present situation of your country with regards to this issue and past actions taken. Keep in mind that this section of your position paper will be exclusively to your country. The third and final part of your position paper deals with possible solutions to the issue at hand. This will be the most important part of your position paper as it showcases your ideas and opinions, what you feel is the best course of action. In EAMUNC, we are more focused on arriving at a consensual solution than on cutthroat debate. Hence, this is the part of your position paper that will probably help you the most during your conference. Your position paper must be about a page to 1.5 pages long. You can use the font Times New Roman and font size 12. Please note that your position paper should be in paragraphs. At the end of your position paper, you need to mention your bibliography, that is, names of sites or links that you have visited in order to write your paper, essentially your source of information. Remember that it is extremely important to include all the sites that you have used in the bibliography. Please note that direct plagiarism is strictly forbidden and will not be tolerated. Coming to the committee sessions. Please note that throughout the duration of the conference, delegates are expected to keep their videos on and audios muted. Delegates can unmute themselves when the Bureau recognizes them. Each session begins with a roll call wherein the Bureau members will call out the names of the member states in alphabetical order. Delegates are expected to say present when their country has been called out. The roll call is the first thing you do in the committee. It is very important to be on time for the roll call. It shows how punctual and organized you are. In case a delegate arrives after the roll call, he or she is expected to send a note to the chair confirming their presence. After the initial roll call has been taken, the general speakers list will be opened up. As you all know, all delegates are supposed to give a speech about the description of your country's stance on the issue that is being discussed in committee. The general speakers list is the moment the whole committee gets to know about your research and your country's stance on the topic. Think of it as your first impression. Your position paper provides the basic information to include in your speech. The speech time will be pre-decided by us, but I advise you to keep it between 60 to 90 seconds. Should you exceed the time limit, we may have to cut short your speech so as to ensure that every speaker on the list gets a chance to voice their opinion. This is your chance to stand up and speak, to make your voice heard. This is the time for you to start making those speeches defending your country, protecting your country's sovereignty, giving suggestions, showing the amount of research you've done. Facts gathered during the GSL can be very helpful for your formal, informal, and resolution writing. During the GSL, delegates will also be allowed to ask points of information to the speaker. These are generally questions in relation to the speech given by the delegate. The right to reply can be exercised when delegates feel like their national integrity has been disrespected during a speech of another delegate.
The topic of the committee is improvement and implementation of food security systems in Africa. The United Nations has dedicated 2020 to raise awareness about plant health and the impact of healthy plants and forests on food security, poverty, economic development, and sustainability. 2020 is dedicated to global plant health. Therefore, our topic is of utmost importance. 20.7% of the population of the African continent are undernourished. Out of these, 237 million people belong to the sub-Saharan African region. Food insecurity is on the rise, and it is becoming increasingly difficult to achieve the Sustainable Development Goal 2, that is zero hunger, by the end of this decade. Food insecurity is widespread in Africa, with the entire continent affected by its grasp. It is important to analyze why the situation arose and has sustained for so long. Climate change across the world has had devastating effects. However, the effect on crops is detrimental. High temperatures reduce crop yield and increase the spread of diseases. In addition, this also affects ocean ecosystems as coral reefs are destroyed. These effects are especially greater on the African continent. Next, the agricultural systems in Africa are highly underdeveloped. Lack of knowledge leads to use of low-yielding inputs in farming. Poor rural infrastructure further worsens the matter. While globalization helped the world greatly, local producers and small-scale farmers were significantly affected. The subsidized produce coming into the country threatens local farmers who might not be able to compete with them. And lastly, lack of hygiene and increasing spread of diseases adds to the problem. Increasing temperatures, lack of efficient infrastructure, less knowledge, and increasing competition from foreign producers all lead to food insecurity in the area. After intensive research and study, you as a delegate would know what are the needs of the hour, how you expect international organizations to function, and how you would like to improve the current systems. Delegates will be requested to refer the conference manual for a comprehensive list of all political and regional blocks, or contact the Bureau for further clarifications regarding block formation. A working paper is the term given to a document which in due course of time would formally be adopted as a resolution. In the simplest of terms, a resolution is a document that highlights the current threats recognized by the committee along with well-detailed and comprehensive solutions, covering all aspects and dimensions of the multifaceted issues. Guidelines on drafting a working paper are outlined in the next section of this manual. Once each block has completed formulating their working papers, we move on to an important phase, that is, merging of the various block positions to form a single complete draft resolution. This process is known as the Vienna formula and is facilitated by the Bureau. One representative from each block, with the chair acting as the mediator, will engage in dialogue in order to effectively merge the individual working papers. These representatives are not fixed and will be allowed to rotate. Once the working papers are merged, the draft resolution will be submitted to the chair. A draft resolution must have sponsors, the number of which will be informed to you before committee sessions. Once the draft resolution has been approved by the Bureau, it will be displayed for all delegates. Following this will be a line-by-line review of the draft resolution. Delegates can utilize this opportunity to make amendments. Changes by the committee as a whole are called amendments, and each draft amendment must be formally proposed to the conference. A proposed amendment can add a paragraph, delete a paragraph, or modify an existing paragraph. The delegate making an amendment must support his or her claim with reasoning. Sponsors of the draft resolution are not permitted to make amendments, yet they play a crucial role in deciding which amendments finally make it to the draft resolution. For an amendment to be adopted, it has to firstly be approved by the sponsors of the draft resolution and, more importantly, by the committee as a whole. There is no voting on amendments. An amendment is incorporated into the final document only once it has been adopted by consensus. Those amendments that are not adopted by consensus are marked for further discussion. The same procedure follows until every paragraph of the draft resolution has been covered. The amendments marked for further discussion are taken up subsequently in an informal session until all delegates unite in agreement. Once all the changes have been made and the amendments been added, the committee moves into the action phase. At this point in time, the chair will ask the delegates if there are any objections to the draft resolution. If there are none, the draft resolution is adopted by consensus and is renamed Resolution 1.1. Consensus is coming to an agreement while respecting differences of opinions and thoughts. It is also acknowledging the fact that perspectives can vary. However, the gaps between different ideas have to be filled respectfully. Therefore, a committee has to come to common grounds and conclude as one voice. Discussion should aim towards building a consensus. And for those who are not familiar with the term consensus, it is where everyone's opinions are heard and understood by every other member in the group, and a solution is created that respects those opinions. Consensus is not what everyone agrees to, nor is it the preference of the majority. Consensus results in the best solution that the group can achieve at the time. This requires cooperation among editors with different interests and opinions. Finally, we encourage you to pursue the topic enthusiastically. Do your research wholeheartedly. We're looking forward to hear your new and creative ideas. Do not hesitate to give your opinion on anything being discussed. Be confident and be ready to be actively engaged in the committee discussions. Be patient with your research and take time to prepare your position papers. Also, in any case of queries, do feel free to contact any of us as we are here to help you. Good luck to all of you. We sincerely hope that you have a memorable and, more importantly, educational conference. We're looking forward to meeting you all soon.